Hello and welcome to a sketchbook tour. I made one of these videos before. I will link it if you want to check it out. And it was from a trip to Alaska that I did. I think it was 2 summers ago. It might have been last summer, but this one is from a Mediterranean cruise that I did with my sister, my mom, and my mom's cousin. We had a fantastic time, and spoiler, the sketchbook is not finished. I don't know what was going on when I was completing this. I just stopped having motivation for it, and I don't know when I'm gonna pick it up again, but I wanted to make a video because I have a bunch of videos on my channel, shorts from that trip that you can also check out if you are interested. And I thought it's time that I put up this video of the travel sketchbook. So I actually didn't bring this sketchbook with me on the trip. I just started working on it when I got home because I was like, I love that trip so much and I wanna be able to keep thinking about it. So I thought I'm going to try and document some of it while I'm at home based off of the pictures and videos that I had on my phone from the trip. So this sketchbook, again, is not complete. I'm not an artist. I just think it's fun to paint. I have never been to art school, taken an art class even, all self-taught and all very unimpressive. But I hope that you enjoy it, and I'm just going to jump into it right now. So this is the sketchbook that I used for this. You'll see it's like halfway finished, kind of. This is a master's touch from, I think it's Hobby Lobby. What is this dirt? From Hobby Lobby, and it's honestly not the greatest. It's, I think, cold pressed. The binding is not great on this book. It has a little elastic here, so you're supposed to be able to, keep it closed. I don't know if I really like that on a sketchbook, I've decided. And I have not bought another one of these since then, and I don't think I would recommend it, but it's fine. It did what I needed it to do. So, starting off, I'm going to try and refrain from saying I hate these things because I don't think that that is going to do us any good, and it would become incredibly redundant. So I'm just going to yet again tell you I am not an artist. Well, I guess I make art, so I can be an artist. I'm not a professional or good artist. That's what I will say. These are just paintings that I had fun creating, and I thought that I would share with you on here. So starting with this first page, shout out real quick. My sister wrote a book, Freshman Reorientation. Her name is Jacqueline D. Riley. It's on Amazon. It is a great graduation gift or a start of college gift for anybody that you know or for yourself. It is subtitled Surviving the Battlefield of the College, or Spiritual Battlefield of the College Campus. I think it's the right title, but it is fantastic. Highly recommend it. So this trip onto here. This was in 2023, I'm discovering. Mediterranean cruise. We were on Norwegian Cruise Line. We love Norwegian. I have family members that work for it, and we just adore the cruise line. So if you're looking for a good first-time cruise, highly recommend it. And the way that I set up this sketchbook is kind of like a diary. I've seen some people do this recently where they, add text entries as well as pictures from their travels. And that's what I decided to do for this one. Since I didn't take it on the trip, it really is like a scrapbook afterwards. So that's what I did mainly on this one. And you'll see more pictures and examples of that as we go through it. So next, this left page I really love. This is, again, just a way of like practicing artwork and creating a diary and little way of remembering your trip without having to focus on having like perfect photos that are going to go into a scrapbook. So what I mean by that is like this was when we had our layover in Ireland, and I loved these weird little prawn flavored chips that I had. So I thought I'm going to draw them. That doesn't look very fancy. The little potato chip guy looks a little scary, but it's okay. It's fun. It's exciting. I also decided that I wanted to draw all of my bags because they were all blue and they were just sitting really nicely, and I had a picture of them as I was looking outside at our Aer Lingus flight. So I drew that, and these are just, again, things that are kind of fun to remember, and they're like pieces of travel that maybe you don't always put inside of a scrapbook. And this is our flight. I just thought that the greens were really pretty on that. So over here, this is our first official stop on the trip, where we actually left the airport. So this is Lisboa, Portugal, or Lisbon, Portugal. I am obsessed with Portugal now. I want to go back there so badly with the rest of my family, with my husband. There was this really cute little coffee shop that we went to. It's not this one. This is a different one where we got the pastel de nata or pastes. I don't know exactly how you say it, but it was fantastic. But this was a different coffee shop that was right by our Airbnb that was so good and so cute. Everything was just adorable in Lisbon. There were so many bright colors. And again, I just want to go back so badly. And I have other pictures to show my love for it as well. So another spot that we went is called Abydos, or Abydos, I feel like is how our guide said it, which is a little kind of miniature, secluded, walled city within Portugal. And it was just spectacular. There's so many beautiful blue tiles. It makes me want to redecorate my entire house into blue. Apparently this place is known for its aqueducts, like even more so than Rome, apparently, the way that our guy was talking. We tried this really good cherry liqueur with chocolate there. They had beautiful hydrangeas, which don't really look like this, but I tried to showcase, again, just a way for me to remember and just try and be creative, even if it's not going to be anything fancy. Now, this I love the colors of. Does it look like anything that an outsider could understand? Probably not, but this is supposed to be a little sardine shop, which is so adorable. They have so many of these all around Portugal, and I also created a little YouTube short showcasing how cute these are, if you want to check that out. The colors are fantastic. There are so many sardines just all over the place. And anyways, it's just adorable. I loved it. And again, thought I wanted to remember it in that way. Now this painting, I really like what I did with this. So we did a guided tour as we were traveling around Portugal. And the main goal was for my mom's cousin and all of us to go up to this place. I don't know if it was a city or a church or a like pilgrimage site called Fatima, I think. And it's like a Catholic pilgrimage site. I'm not Catholic. I'm a Protestant Christian, but it still was really cool to go up and see, you know, like a religious site for the Portuguese. This was not Fatima. This was one of the stops that we took on our way up there, and this was just another big cathedral, and the depth is not perfect, but I thought it was cool, and I think it's really pretty. This I did not paint. This is just a photograph, and then I expanded from it, which I think kind of worked out kind of fun, and it was a good way for me to not have to worry about painting this really intricate but really beautiful entryway. This here is a picture of fried sardines that we had because I thought basically when in Rome or when in Portugal, there were so many beautiful vineyards along the roads. I loved this statue from Fatima. This is when we were actually there. It was a ginormous statue of Jesus on the cross, which I think is a fairly like Catholic depiction, still showing Jesus on the cross. Most of the time, like Protestant crosses are empty, but I thought that this was really cool and really modern, and the way they depicted it was just really unique to me. Next, this was a little tile work inside of a coffee shop, I think it was, that I thought was really cool, and I tried to recreate some other things from the city, and it's just fun to, again, have this way of remembering it. Last little piece for Portugal, we ended up going to another cute little coffee shop called Paul. We had a great apricot tart that I loved. And then this is something that I still have beef over. Has anybody ever had boiled bread in Portugal? Have you heard of it? Have you heard that it's a big deal in Portugal? Because I have heard both ways, but it literally is bread that is then soaked and boiled, and you eat it, and it is even worse than oatmeal. It's crazy. Do not recommend. Over here, we're finally on the cruise ship. It was incredibly windy, and our first stop, so we were up here in Lisbon and we had to go into the Mediterranean through the Strait of Gibraltar. It was beautiful. This was my first time seeing Africa. I've never been to Africa. I want to go so badly. That is like next stop, top on my list, and I would just love to go. But seeing it through the Strait of Gibraltar was pretty fantastic. There's only 8 miles in between it, which is crazy. And this is me right here with Africa behind me with the beautiful sunset. And it was just really, really cool. So our first stop inside of the Mediterranean was the Alcazaba de Malaga. And Malaga is a place in Spain. This was a beautiful Moorish site. So Moorish is essentially the Middle Eastern Islamic people that were in Spain like centuries ago. And it's just stunning. I mean, there's so clearly like a Middle Eastern architecture influence over here. You can see it in this picture up here, the actual like arches and tiles. It was just fantastic. My one regret is that we did not go into Picasso's museum, who was originally from Malaga, which I did not realize. Apparently, people knew this beforehand and they got tickets. The line was incredibly long, so we ended up not going in. But we got to see the museum, and just to say that we've been where he was from is pretty cool, even though his art style, like this, is not necessarily my cup of tea. But we did get to just enjoy the city a lot in the Alcazaba, as well as getting different food and treats like gelato, and it was just fantastic. Then, is this the right page? Oh yeah, it is. Okay. We went to Ibiza, which was so different than what I expected. I don't know really why I put rave down here, because I am not a raver. Ibiza, I have always heard, you know, of course it is all about the raving and the parties. My family does not do that. We were not drinking. We did get to have a cappuccino at a place called Cappuccino, but it was just a really, really like bougie spot. Way more upscale than I expected. There were so many yachts everywhere, like the largest yachts I've ever seen in my life. And of course, a lot of clubs. We heard a lot of like dance music going on. But truth be told, we didn't really know what to do with ourselves at this stop, because it like was so party heavy. But we still had a lot of fun, pretending like we were rich. And then we went to Palma de Mallorca. I love this picture. I love what it is like representative of. We had a fantastic time just eating, having lunch in like the city center on the street. It was just a really beautiful spot, and this is showcasing that. They had so many beautiful begonias all over the place. Big, beautiful trees covering the streets, beautiful fountains. It was just fantastic. Onto this side. This is also in Palma. This is so scary. This is like nightmare fuel to me. But in order to become a better artist, you have to be willing to put yourself out there and try new things and expect them to be ugly and be okay with them being ugly, which is exactly what this is. I am so terrible at drawing people. I can't draw them realistically. I can't do like a cartoon person. I can't do like an in-between little quirky whimsy person. So it looks like this. That's why I honestly just want to show my art, is to show people like you don't have to be a perfect artist to try and create art. And not even just try, to create it. And you don't have to be ashamed of it, because no artist was born knowing everything and being a perfect artist. They had to put in time and work and effort. I saw somebody say that they don't like it when they don't like it when people say like, oh my gosh, you're so talented, when in reality, it's like, I'm not talented. I put in a bunch of hard work and effort into this. So, still a work in progress. And now, this is a reference to Don Quixote de la Mancha. If you have not seen, yet again, my short talking about this trip, specifically about Don Quixote, I will link it down below. It was a fantastic time getting to just talk about and reminisce on this story with our taxi driver. So next, this is in Barcelona. We love Barcelona. I've been there now, I guess, just twice. It's a beautiful place, and this is just a recreation kind of the two-decker, double-decker bus map that we got. And here is probably my favorite page of this art. So over here, excuse me, oh my gosh, I have a tickle in my throat. Over here is Park Güell. This I have been to before, loved it. I've been to both places, Park Güell and La Sagrada Familia. I just love this style of modern art in Barcelona. I'm not typically like a modern art lover, but this is just a different, really unique style. So this is my favorite page. I love seeing the star on top. I love the spiral staircase that we got to go into the spires when I was here years ago. We didn't have tickets and couldn't get in this time. That's probably the drawback of having a cruise, is, you know, you're just limited on time. But we still had a really great time seeing the outside, going to a pastry shop afterwards, that I think is on the next page. I love seeing all of the, again, the spires, the colors, everything like that. I just think is really, really beautiful. And yes, this is some of the food that we had. Not super excited exciting. The colors did not come across great on here, but this was a place called Panus or Panis. I don't know how you say it, but this was across the street from the Sagrada Familia, and it was just delicious. Over here, this was our first stop in France. So this was in Marseille, the south of France. Everybody in Marseille was so nice. I cannot get this like across enough. I have never been to Paris. I don't even think I've been to France before, but you know, you hear the stereotypes that the French are the worst. They're so mean. Like, they don't like it when you try to speak their language, if you are going to butcher it. I am convinced now that that is just in Paris, but now, like, going to Marseille and seeing how kind people are, I don't even know if I believe that. But in Marseille, again, everyone was so nice. Like, the police officers were kind. The people working in the pastry shops were kind. There was this really sweet little old man that helped us to get directions, and he was speaking English with us, even though he said that he didn't know English, but he was trying. They were all fantastic. So the French, I'm sorry that you keep getting a bad rap, because I now love you. I think you are fantastic. And this is Marseille again. This one's not totally done. This is my one gripe with Marseille. What the heck is this thing? This is like a ginormous, weird little teddy bear outside of this really cool looking, like, modern art museum. But this was freaky. Another attempt at drawing myself, another fail. But hey, again, you try and you grow and you learn. Okay, this is cute. This is just a street in France that I thought was cute, and I wanted to recreate it. And then, is this the last thing I think it might be? Yes, it is. Okay, this is also in Marseille. This is inside of this, beautiful cathedral, which I had never seen this, like, black and white stripe on a cathedral before, which I thought was really cool. This is my sister, by the way. But inside of here, they had beautiful tile work, beautiful art, and really cool statues of the different saints. And I, again, wanted to try and paint those. I think that I like the start of these. Doing hands and faces, again, is kind of scary, but I like that I can just focus on shadows and try and learn, like, depth like that without having to worry about pictures. So I think I want to start, and these are not done, but I think I want to start kind of painting more like statue-esque kind of Greek and Roman style sculptures, again, to focus on just the depth without worrying about the color. And I realized one last page that I started, did not finish, Roma, because we did go there. And that was our last stop, which was fantastic. Love Rome. I just loved everything on this trip. And I hope that you loved seeing the sketchbook, even though it's not that exciting or great. But if you want to see more like this, let me know in the comments. Subscribe, and I will see you in my next video very soon. Bye.